Hi everyone, this is Jen Haston, and on this week's episode of Haston Helping Hands, I'm going to talk to you about boundaries and buffers. So this week I've had a lot of opportunities to observe how important boundaries and buffers are. I will illustrate. So there was a situation where I really needed to say, you know what, that's not for me. And I was having a lot of trouble with it. And I was going, what is my problem? I set boundaries every single day. And that's when it hit me. Boundaries are something that you have to set, and you can't just set and forget. Like, you constantly have to set them up and hold them. Now, sometimes your boundaries change, and it's really important to note that that does happen. But most of the time it's you setting them up again and saying, you know what? This is where I'll live. And there is a great quote by Prentice Hemphill. Boundaries are the distance where I can love you and me at the same time. And I think that it's an excellent thing to think about when you think about boundaries, because I think a lot of times we have a negative connotation for it, because it's like, oh, I'm telling someone no, they're not going to like that. They're maybe not going to like me. And then there's a whole spiral that goes along with that. So stopping that in its tracks. And another quote I love, which is, I protect my peace daily with unapologetic boundaries. That doesn't mean you need to be in someone's face about it, but you can say, that's not going to work for me. You can say no. No is a one-word sentence. You can say it with a smile. Be sure, though, that you are choosing to be uncomfortable saying no instead of having the resentment of having said yes and then not really meaning it. That's a paraphrase from a quote by Brene Brown about choosing comfort over resentment. Because the last thing you want to do is say yes to somebody and then not actually mean it. And then now you're stuck in a situation that you do not want to be in. Okay, so that's boundaries. Buffers are very important to keeping boundaries. I am aggressively early for everything, which is one of the reasons that we have times for, okay, we're going to leave the house at 9 o'clock. So that means we're going to leave the house at 8:45. So I'll make sure that my actual deadline is being met. The internal deadline is 8:45. So for instance, we're leaving for church in a little bit, and I'm making sure that we're going to leave on time. And that buffer is so important because I have no idea what's going to happen that day. If I'm going to be on time, my partner's going to be on time, my kid's going to be on time. So trying to have a buffer so we don't have to rush has been so life-changing for us. So boundaries and buffers, that's my lesson. And listen, this is not something that I'm perfect at. I work at it every single day, just like you. I'm Jen Haston. This is Haston Helping Hands. If you find this helpful, go ahead and subscribe. Bye, y'all.